What's up, your boy Vaughn of the Reaction? In today's video, we have the complete updated history of the New Japan IWGP Heavyweight Championship belt. This one of the best belts ever. Like, that belt is so nice. I ain't gonna lie, the New Japan belt, beautiful. I don't know. About wicked belt, wick belt.
In the words of the immortal Hulk Hogan, the IWGP belt is the most important title in the world today. And it's hard to
It's beautiful,
argue with that. New Japan Pro Wrestling has done an incredible job preserving the prestige and
That one hard.
legacy of the IWGP
That one hard.
Heavyweight Championship. No matter who holds it, the title has always represented excellence and world-class competition. Just look at the names etched in its history. Antonio Inoki, The Great Muta, Big Van Vader, Brock Lesnar, Tanahashi, Okada, AJ Styles, a lineup stacked with Hall of Famers and true legends of the sport. Each champion added to the
I ain't
mystique,
know Brock won that shit.
elevating a championship
I know Brock and Kurt Angle, they had a match though. They wrestled.
that already
This a Aura pick. This one of the greatest wrestling picks ever. Aura.
stood at the pinnacle of professional
You just had to beat up for that Bullet Club shit, bro.
wrestling. I could spend all day talking about the legendary reigns and unforgettable moments that built up its reputation, but today we're diving into something even bigger. Today we're breaking down the complete, updated history of New Japan Pro Wrestling's IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
I won't go to a Wrestle Kingdom. I won't go to that one year. I know that should be packed out.
But before we get to that,
New Japan's version of WrestleMania, basically, if y'all don't know.
we need to rewind even further back, all the way to 1974. That year marked the beginning of New Japan's annual tournaments, events that would evolve in both name and prestige over time. From 1974 to 1977, the tournament was known as the World League. It was then later rebranded as the MSG League, a name it carried.
Yeah, a lot of niggas can't wrestle in New Japan. You actually have to put on a banger match in New Japan. Like Kenny Omega, like you actually got to be an amazing wrestler and put on bangers.
1978 through 1982. And then in 1983, the tournament took on a new name, the IWGP League, short for the International Wrestling Grand Prix, the fictional governing body of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, Japan, they always take their wrestling way more like an actual sport, so multiple different companies have these different governing bodies in Japanese wrestling. The inaugural IWGP League in 1983 was won by Hulk Hogan. Along with his victory, he was awarded a championship belt, while the design was the same as what fans now recognize.
That one, I like it. But this nigga Hulk Hogan, bro, is winning everything, bro. Like that nigga was super over. They kept giving that belt to their racist nigga.
As the IWGP version 1. At the time, it functioned more like a trophy, defended only within the annual tournament rather than as a traditional belt. But that changed in 1987 when the title was officially established as the full-fledged IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Now, all the previous holders are not actually considered IWGP Heavyweight Champions, so Hulk Hogan never actually won the title, even though he held the belt itself. Now, the V1 design itself was actually stunning. Smaller in size compared to later versions, it featured incredibly detailed plates, especially at the time. Intricate texturing along the lower half, and carefully placed gems embedded in the main plate. It was a simple design, but it was executed beautifully. It was elegant without feeling overdone. Now, this classic belt remained in use all the way until 1997, when it was ultimately replaced by the IWGP version 2 design. And the IWGP version 2 was truly one of the most unique world title designs ever created.
I don't like that one. I don't like that one.
The shape of the main
too much going on at the top. I don't like all this.
Plate immediately stood out. It had this bold, commanding presence. At the center, the IWGP logo was prominently displayed, framed by detailed artwork of wrestlers grappling. It had a rich nugget-style texturing, filling the background and giving that extra depth that the plates needed, and it gave it some nice, much needed character. The side plate was just as distinctive, complementing the main design rather than feeling like an afterthought. And of course, the massive gemstones embedded in the main plate gave that belt the signature IWGP
Well,
feel.
I know these belts probably worth some money. Who got these bitches? I know these bitches probably worth some money now. I ain't gonna lie. Let's see. These the old versions, but them belts expensive, y'all. Yeah, I want collection. Them bitches cost some money. I ain't gonna them bitches some bread. 1,000? Like, wait, why is this one going for 1,000? Gang, why is this going for 1,000? Yeah, this. Oh, brother, do United States one hard too. Why is that one going for 1,000? Bro, just nigga trying over, no nigga overpricing. This a lot of money, 400, 200. Yeah, this built hard, bro. This one of the older ones. But I'm just, hold on. Why is that top one going for 1,000? Is that bitch made out of real gold or something? Real silver and gold? Take me to eBay. Why is this bitch going for 1,000? 24, okay, 24K gold. Is it really made out of gold? Real leather and gold plate and weight. Damn, weigh at least 15 pounds. Okay, that's probably why.
We had from the first title. Now, if there was one small critique I would have, it's the leather strap could have featured a little bit more detailing to match the intricacy of the plates. It was pretty boring. I mean, there was nothing there. Still, though, that's a minor issue on what was otherwise a very fantastic championship design. Now, the version 2 was used from 1997 until 2005. It was then briefly retired, but then brought back from 2006 to 2008, which we're going to dive deeper into that in that weird transitional period as we move on to the next iteration, the IWGP version 3. The IWGP
That one
version 3
hard.
easily ranks in the top 5 greatest world title designs of all time, at least in my opinion. From the moment you see it, the design commands attention. It has this massive eagle spreading its wings across the main plate, which gave this title a powerful, almost imperial presence, and the shape of the plates made it instantly recognizable. Everything about this championship radiated prestige. But the absolute best feature of the version 3 was in its side plates. For the first time, every previous champion had their name permanently engraved onto the belt itself. It was such an incredible concept. Now, I know New Japan didn't actually invent the idea of honoring past champions this way, but I think they executed it the best, better than anyone
Yeah,
else.
that looks the best. Yeah,
It made the championship feel alive, like it physically
yeah, like the way they got it. That's hard.
carried its own history. Now, interestingly enough, this belt wasn't always referred to as the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It was also known as the IWGP Third Belt Heavyweight Championship. That name came from one of the most unusual chapters in its entire history, and that takes place in October 2005. Former WWE wrestler Brock Lesnar won the title, and after 3 successful defenses, he stopped appearing in New Japan at all, claiming he was owed money. Now,
Oh my god,
Lesnar
look at Shinsuke. Bro, Shinsuke really old as hell. And he don't look that, like, he don't look old for his age, bro.
then kept the physical
That nigga
championship
been
with him
doing this for years, bro. And never had a real title shot in WWE. A world title shot. A heavyweight title. You know what I'm saying?
which forced New Japan to bring back the previous design in 2006 and recognize a new lineal champion.
The ace.
Around the same time, though, New Japan founder Antonio Inoue departed the company and launched a new promotion, IGF. Inoue recognized Lesnar as the legitimate IWGP Heavyweight Champion since he never actually was defeated for the title. New Japan, however, maintained that Lesnar had been stripped of the belt and instead referred to the title he held as the IWGP Third Belt Heavyweight Championship. That is that's a mouthful right there, separating it from its official lineage. Lesnar, of course, would then officially lose the title to Kurt Angle, who then carried the belt into TNA Wrestling and was referred to on television as the IWGP Champion.
This was on when he had both of them belts.
It was that
I
really
need that, man, bro. I need wrestling T-shirt collections. This when I get money, bro. It's a lot of shit I want. I want collections of a lot of shit. I want this magazine.
belt collector era of Kurt Angle, I think he did that gimmick better than just about anyone else. Now, New Japan doesn't actually recognize Kurt Angle as the holder of the IWGP champion, only as a holder of the third belt, which I think they should honestly rectify that. I think Kurt Angle
No, bro,
should
look
be
at
an
this nigga eyes, bro. This nigga was high as hell. He was rolling.
IWGP champion. You'll have to let me know what you guys think. The situation was then finally resolved in
No,
February
but look at his eyes in every pic.
2008 when Kurt Angle faced Shinsuke Nakamura to unify the V3 belt with the version 2 belt. 1 month later, in March 2008, both titles were officially retired and replaced by the IWGP version 4, ushering in a new era for the championship. And came with the dawn of a new era, came, in my
That
opinion,
nigga that nigga Shinsuke looked like Moist Critical a little bit. Well, Moist Critical looked like Shinsuke.
greatest world championship title design ever created. Yes, better than the Winged Eagle, even better than the Big Gold, and better than any other modern classic. When I first got into
Yeah, I would say. Ooh, that bitch look like that shine. Ooh, that's
wrestling
OD.
belt collecting, this was my holy grail. It was a championship I dreamed of owning,
Oh my god.
and
Boy,
to
this your
this
collection? God
day,
damn.
it still sits front and center in my collection. The
That
design is simply perfect. You have
boy,
that
you got some money, boy.
iconic lion's mark standing proudly at the
That
top.
bitch shine. Yeah, you can't touch it, bro. Cause that bitch shiny, bro.
The championship banners look bold and regal. The intricate filler designs and the gemstones shine beautifully. Every element works together flawlessly. And for the first time in IWGP history, the belt actually featured a nameplate for the current champion. A small little addition, but I mean, it made the belt feel even more personal because not only will former champions have their name etched on the belt, the current champion does as well. And speaking of tradition, like I said, they still kept the previous names of the champions on the side plates. For the first time in IWGP
They gonna
Heavyweight
run out of nameplates though. I ain't gonna lie.
Championship history, this belt featured a nameplate for the current champion, which was a small little detail, but I don't know, it made the reigns feel even more personal. And speaking of tradition, this belt also honored the past by continuing to display the names of all the previous champions on the side plates, preserving that lineage and legacy of the belt. So awesome. This belt design lasted for 13 incredible years, but eventually change came. The title was unified with the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, and not only was this belt design retired, the actual IWGP Heavyweight Championship itself was officially retired. And in its place came the new IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, a brand new title, a brand new belt, and the beginning of an entirely new lineage. And that brings us to the IWGP version 5, a championship that was met with immediate criticism and ridicule, which in my opinion was completely undeserved. The version 5 was actually a very strong design. The craftsmanship and overall quality was
That one
excellent.
decent.
It had this a uniquely shaped nameplate that made it stand out from the past versions, but still take inspirations from the different designs, especially the version 2 in my opinion. The gemstones look fantastic under the lights, and it really only had one real criticism from me, and that was it didn't include the names of the previous champions on the side plates. That tradition
Man, you gonna run out of names though, gang. Like, gang, New Japan been around for years. Since when New Japan came out, the fucking 90s or something, bro. You gonna run out of names, bro. You
So
can't fit every past champion on it on the nameplate.
much history and prestige to the earlier versions of the belt. And I do think keeping that detail, even though technically it was a whole new belt, I still think that should have been added. It would have made the version 5 perfect in my opinion that. But aside from that, I'm still a fan of this design. Honestly though, I believe much of the backlash for this belt came from the fact that it was replacing one of the most beloved championship designs in wrestling history. Any belt put in that position was going to face an uphill battle with fans. Whether it was the Big Eagle, the Winged Eagle, the Big Gold, I think it still would have got some backlash. Now, however, this new design and its new lineage didn't last very long. In early 2026, the version 4 design and the original IWGP Heavyweight Championship lineage were revived and merged together, and
That
that wraps
Intercontinental one hard too.
up the complete updated history of New Japan Pro Wrestling's IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Interestingly, there's never been a custom version of this championship used on television.
Oh, what that red one, nice.
Of
That's
course,
a custom one that a fan made, a concept.
there have been replicas used when like the version 4 got damaged, but we never got like a wrestler specific design. But there
Yeah.
was, however, one unused design that is pretty well widely known, and that was a prototype created by belt maker Belt Performance as a pitch for the version 5. The design was actually very impressive. It maintained that prestigious high-end look, and honestly, I would have been perfectly fine if this belt would have been used. Now, once again, though, I do think having the champion's name on the side plates would have elevated this belt even further, but I do really like how uniquely shaped the side plates are. It still looked really good. And here's a little, like, unrelated side note, but I think Belt Performance
Well,
was
that
an
big gold so beautiful though.
incredible talented. He was an incredibly talented belt maker, and it's truly a shame he retired and is no longer making belts because his work was awesome. But I do thank you guys for watching this. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below.
Yeah, make sure to comment, subscribe, and all do this. Let's see. Well, the name of your channel is Wick Belts. So yo, as a belt collector, this is an expensive hobby for like that. My full 100+ replica belt collection. You know what? I think I seen this clip of all these belts on TikTok or something. Yeah, yo got some money for like damn. It was at the NWO. I got money on like chill channel. I bought the brand new WrestleMania 42 golden title belt. Yeah, your ass got money for. I bought the official AEW I bought the official AEW Unified Championship replica belt. WWE WrestleMania 40 limited edition modern era replica. Yeah, your ass a wrestling super fan. But I love wrestling too, bro. It's an art, my nigga. Like when wrestling done right, it's just beautiful. I ain't gonna lie.